The more I pray and reflect on the Magnificat, the more power I see in individual lines has. For example, for he who is mighty has done great things for me. First of all, I just love, like, here it is, Mary's always giving the glory to God. She does not reserve it for herself. Even when she says all generations will call me blessed, that's because of what God has done. And certainly it's fitting. It's also fitting for us to do that. But he who is mighty, that's who God is. Mary's reminding us, he who is mighty, especially when we feel like evil is overcoming the world and we kind of shake. No need to shake. He who is mighty has done great things for me. Well, for Mary, but for us too, you and me. He has done great things for me. And the more we reflect on those great things that God has done in our lives, the less we feel afraid of what the devil can do, because we realize that the devil is just a lizard to be stepped on, whereas God is mighty and he has done great things for me, and holy is his name. Wow, what a mystery to ponder. Another phrase from the Magnificat that's really wonderful is, he has shown the strength of his arm. He has scattered the proud in their conceit, or the translation I'm looking at now says he scatters the proud in the imagination of their hearts. I love it. How often we puff ourselves up. We try to be important, right? We kind of stick out our chests. We want to make ourselves more important, when the reality is where we're the most important and the most blessed is when we are the littlest and poorest, like Mary herself. Like, we think of her as exalted, and she is because of what God has done. But when we see in the Magnificat the way she reflects on herself, she's like, I'm the poor little slave that's nothing. God is everything. But God has lifted us up. But then we have this line here about him scattering the proud in the imagination of our hearts. In the end, all of us are going to see, if for no other reason, that you will see it at your judgment. But I suspect long before you go to your judgment, we're going to see that God is going to scatter the proud in the imagination of their hearts. He loves us too much than to allow us to live forever in the lie that our strength is what makes the world go around. He allows it for a time because he's patient. But in the end, we need to understand and we need to choose that I serve the Lord and I follow his strength, or do I make my strength exalted above over God and try to rule the world? Because that's the sin of Satan. That's his choice against God. He does not want to humble themselves, whereas the holy angels, like the guardian angels, they humble themselves. They can't suffer because they don't have bodies, but they can imitate Jesus in humiliating themselves. And that's kind of a kinship that Mary and the angels have together. They both humiliate themselves in the sight of God, and then God blesses them for it. So why shouldn't we imitate them? I want to be blessed. I'm going to follow the example of Mary and the angels.